Hi, friends. Host Dark here. Host Dark Fans people. I'm here with Cameron.
What's up, peeps?
And we're chatting about various things. Chatting about non-alcoholic beer, sort of. And Cameron telling a story of he used to be married. You were married to her, right?
This is my long-term girlfriend Janelle I had after my wife Heather.
Oh.
Yeah, I was with Janelle for many years, like 8 years or several years.
What happened?
My health got so fucked up in 2009 that I became a worthless turd, and the doctors gave me opioids to deal with the pain of like the destruction of my what can I say? My entire digestive tract. And the opioids made me totally worthless and stupid and terrible and feel terrible. And it made me a worthless boyfriend, and she dumped me.
I see. It's rather harsh self-critique.
It was totally true. I mean, it's true. I was a totally fucking worthless piece of crap.
Well, I mean, I know the feeling because I went through my period of being a worthless drunk, so I know I know how that goes when referring back to a previous incarnation of self that one is no longer views as viable or acceptable.
Yeah, and the thing is, I used this opioid called tramadol under their guidance. It's not that I was finding it on the street and using it. I was using it as they said, but it also was making me totally terrible and screwed up. So yeah, it just made me a worthless boyfriend who wasn't able to work and contribute and just become a super turd and super drama. Just be like everything's someone else's fault. Just really go to my worst sort of tendencies in my personality. My best personality is just to be great all the time, helpful and nice and smart. My shittiest part is like I'm a victim. Everything's dark place. I'm depressed.
I'm a victim of poo.
Yeah.
Hi, Octavia Silva. Hi, Jeebus. Hi, Gio. So I do want to talk about that's Cameron Jeebus, my ISTJ friend. I do want to show actually a couple of the cool pictures. You know how
this is Cameron's mom.
Rachel and I are working on the our own tarot card deck. We won't call it tarot, we'll call it something. Cameron made a couple of pictures for him, and it came out pretty great.
Thank you.
He did this while I was at work. That one's pretty rad, huh? And this one is even radder, though. I love this one.
Do you like the Sturm and Drang? Or no, what is Sturm and Drang? It's like rain and it's supposed to be like a storm.
Hotek's divination deck is a good name, but it's not just Hosterix. It's it has to be called TWFP divination deck, I guess.
More to come.
But maybe it would have a more magical sounding name, like the Inner Sage. Something like that. We got to sell it to INFPs, obviously. Pretty great pictures, huh? This one is just really, it's like, wow, that's Poppy. That's Poppy like a father figure.
I tried to have that be a belt, but sometimes your pictures, it's my first try. If I did it a second time, it would be a belt like a boxer has, but it just wound up there. And I like it. I wouldn't do a second one.
I like it like that.
Yeah.
I prefer it like that. It makes it look weirder.
I meant for his glasses to be going like this, where he's looking over like that, but I just didn't pull it off. But it's still like his hands are on there, like, what?
Well, there's a lot of interpretations to it, really, because you could interpret it like he's being the great Karnak. Remember that Johnny Carson skit, The Great Karnak?
I do not.
Johnny Carson would put on this like turban or whatever, and they'd bring out an envelope, and he'd go, two dogs, Mary, and the Bobcat, or something like that, and then the question would link to that thing.
Yeah. Like Zoltar. Do you know the Zoltar box?
Yes, Zoltar.
I love Zoltar.
Yes, Zoltar.
Whenever I see Zoltar, I never give him money, but I always really like Zoltar.
Eric, I have a whip of you, and I finish it, but I'm bored of working on it now, so take it now. A whip? What's a whip? Wow, look at that. Look what Octavio Silva made.
That's pretty damn cool. Sweet.
That's some high resolution image, too.
Very nice.
That's fucking great, dude. I mean, everybody should look at that thing. That's amazing. Why didn't Cam on the camera? Because they cancel each other out. Cam and Cam.
What's up, peeps?
I don't know. He's an introvert.
I'm smoking my bong, and you can't video me smoking my bong. That's the actual reason.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. If Arcadia Silva wants to let me use it. That's a paint filter you use on photos in an app. Okay, well, I don't know what it is, but it's great. Whatever it is. I don't remember there ever being a picture of me. It looks exactly like this, though. Photograph. I don't think there is. There might be somewhere.
Screen capture, perhaps?
Could be a screen capture.
Could be you in the car or something driving. Or... It's interesting. You have no eyeballs. You're just black eyes.
Regardless, it looks great. It's very
cool. You've got the green TWFP shirt, circa 2017, perhaps 2018.
Yeah. The thing is, I had no eyes in the screenshot I took. Cool. I mean, the thing is, Jeebus, the point of making a piece of art ultimately is realizing a specific vision with a piece of art. He took a screenshot, which means he found a specific thing of, image of my face, and me editing it. Good morning, April. So, what I actually really wanted to talk about when I started this video is two different particular kinds of critic and what to make of them and their critiques and stuff, and what it might thanks to you. It's so distracting. So this guy 17X, as I think the person who's responsible for these emails I've received, the emails are like XXXXXXX, but not necessarily 17 of them. Various X's is its name, sender. And they're quite, I didn't really read them very carefully, but they're furiously like adversarial, you could say. And one of them begins with him scolding me for calling him weak in a live stream. Like when he came in with a bunch of critiques, I'm just like, you're weak as fuck. You're weak, or whatever. He obviously took offense to that. Hurt his feelings or something. I don't know. I don't mean to be just dismissive of it, saying, "Oh, I hurt his feelings." Like normally people say that as an attack. I don't mean that. You know, if you feel like an injustice has been done to you, you're going to retain some sort of sense that that wrongdoing has happened and been unrectified. The thing is, you know, it's like he wrote these big emails to me and stuff, and he wrote them a while back, but I just went through my email like yesterday or something, and I may have seen one of them before, but not really, maybe not thought much about it. And then I saw like in a cluster of them, you know, like, okay, well, let me see what's going on here with these emails. And
this guy's name is so disguised that you don't know who it is,
what?
or you can tell who it is. I mean,
No, his name's 17X. I mean, who?
Oh, so
who
you don't
is it?
really. So he's still the same name you know him as in your room, but you don't know his face per se,
No.
or
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know, some person in the world.
just
but
any random person.
the
who
point
was
is
on your group.
that
Yeah.
he's known around here as 17X.
Yeah.
And oh no, wait, it was that IV guy. It wasn't 17X, but 17X reminds me of him. 17X might be the same guy.
Yeah.
The IVX guy, I think. Anyway, and I said, what is that, 1410? Can you read the email for us? I can read a little bit of that. So I tried to reply to the guy. I wrote a little bit of a reply and I sent it, and I got one of those male demon things, you know?
Okay.
So do you want to discuss this stuff without the ad hominems? If the ad hominem is necessary to prove a point such as you can't understand this because you haven't literally experienced this and you must experience it to fully understand or something along those lines, then I have no problem with it. But just mindlessly cursing at people is idiotic, for one. And two, it just makes you look like inept and undermines anything you're saying. So life's an open forum, right? I've admittedly used a bunch of different accounts. But no, I'm not CS Joseph. Okay, well, it's like that, you know. The thing is, here's the deal. I am me, which means I'm a human being that's some ways and not others, you know. My response, okay. The reason you don't say I'm weak is your own. The reason I'm not susceptible to the critique, regardless, however, is implicit to reality. At the end of the day, I don't mind defeating those who come at me with wrongness, but I'll only allow it to occupy so much of my time, and I may or may not correct people with care for their feelings. Reading these emails asks too much time of me at about a point in dispute that's not even worth arguing about. You operate from the outset with a failure to recognize the role of agreement in determining the status of things, so it's probably a lost cause. Your definitions don't emerge from meaningful deliberative process. For example, you refer to dictionary definitions of the word metaphysics. Why? It's the best term to mean what I say. The mechanics of abstraction, in other words, grammar, self-concept, etc., are described by metaphysics because language is the meta level for physical reality and because physics refers to the mechanics of the concrete. That's not something you should dispute. It's a real definition. In other words, it's meaningfully operationalized. The definitions you cite aren't definitions. Things are defined contextually for the purposes of a given exchange or series of exchanges, even when a word is used in its most common parlance. A depth thinker will recognize where the context requires further ground refinement. Look, critiquing me for my quote unquote ad hominems is understandable, but it's entirely wrong, and it exemplifies what I'm talking about and why I don't want to spend a lot of time on you and your fussing. You just don't know enough to meaningfully engage me on an adversarial level. Certainly, you could benefit a lot from deciding to learn from me, but that requires genuine disinterest. You have to be able to check your ego, put on the learner's hat, and ask questions. You almost certainly aren't there yet. So here's a quick lesson and an example of why you were barking up a very wrong tree here. An ad hominem fallacy requires that you use critiques of an individual as warrants in critiquing a given claim, affirmation, or negation. What I did is I insulted you. I didn't warrant any arguments with those insults, so there's nothing fallacious about my insults. They were rude, but they definitely were not examples of ad hominem. You build whole castles on exceedingly sandy foundations, and the sand is made of ignorance and a willful refusal to humble yourself and not to take advantage of this opportunity to be less weak.
And that went to the mailer daemon, which means he didn't get it?
Yeah.
Well, you've read it aloud for the viewers at home. That was pretty good.
Stevens, will you stop trying to slap fight with Hambone? You know how I feel about that. Secondhand slap fight is a leading killer of everybody, everywhere, for all time. Secondhand smackdown. Secondhand smackdown. It's when when someone else's blood gets on you. Jeebus stalks Frank James too, but doesn't get the attention that he does from you, Eric. Oh, well, obviously that's why I've earned more Jeebus. Good for me. Thank God. Hi, Rachel. How you doing? I have my baby cakes. Are you 50% baby and 50% cakes? Who's pro heterosexuality? Well, have you tried taking a lot of very high strength prescription pills? That usually helps. I look like Larry King from the side, like King Larry from the front, and like Elvis King of Rock and Roll from the other side. Why am I sad? I don't feel sad. I don't think. I kind of miss Rachel, obviously. I was thinking today about how it's like, I don't even want to, at least not at the moment. I don't even want to fuck around with, video chat fun, because it's just like, it's so much like or going to a strip club or something. You don't actually touch the other person. Chivas, will you please shut the fuck up for once in your life? You know how hard it is for me to ignore you? Well, Countess, because I use a little bit of wisdom and a little bit of TE, I should actually really talk to Cameron about this question. See, I was gonna put an aquarium up there, but then I realized
Where?
that's incredibly stupid. It will totally not support that aquarium.
Oh my god.
That is going to totally not work.
Oh my god.
So I stopped what I was thinking of doing is before I started doing it. And I realized where I am going to put it is probably on top of that black thing there, where the TV is on right now. And I'll put the TV on something next to that black thing because only half of this door opens anyway.
Sure.
So, yeah. Obviously, says Countess. 10 years ago, I would have fucking filled that thing up with water.
Dude, that
shit you not.
shit would have ruined your house.
I shit you not. 10 years ago, I would have filled that thing up with water.
I just came across some pictures. I was talking to your dad. I don't know about like the Lacey, and I looked up my photos at your Sultana house. So I've got a bunch of photos of your kittens and all that. Should you want to check them out? But there's a photo of your power plug. Remember the one with the black?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. There's a really nice photo of that one on there.
Countess, the thing I have to put it on is actually going to be just fine. It's a metal file cabinet filled with files. There's no way it's going to collapse this thing. It's a very heavy metal file cabinet. So I thought about some alternate approaches to still having it up on the shelf. It just doesn't fit depth-wise on the shelf, for one thing. And the bottom line is I'd rather have it over there so I can actually look at it. I never face that direction. I always face that direction. Yeah, I want Rachel to get a good night's sleep too. Rachel and I have the same problem. We don't sleep very well, naturally. We don't sleep at, I guess you'd say, the regular times that you'll sleep at. I would see it in the webcam, but I wouldn't be able to look at it when I was falling asleep. It would look good on camera. Yeah, I mean, I could always sit myself in front of the tank and turn the camera. I'm not married to this spot, It's 11, 12, 1:51. It's almost 2 in the morning. I was trying to get to bed, then saw that this was on. Dang it, I took 10 milligrams of melatonin. That's not going to do much to you. It's not really a drug.
Is one of these guys your cat that you have right now? And is that a raccoon outside? What's that?
I don't know what that stuff is.
Okay.
Yeah, one of these. There may have been another kitten that's not pictured, but one of this. These are all the kittens, and one of these is Pee-Pee. Yeah. One of these is Pee-Pee as a kitten. Sounds like a dog. Maybe.
Yeah, I have like 200 photos from your other house, many of them kitty photos.
So, I was one of the critics I wanted to deal with, and my response to it was, in general, to try to. I love them too, Rachel. Curve Surfer X. Astral projection, lucid dream music. Astral projection is when you project yourself in someone's ass. Someone's TIN. Yeah, Jeebus. Anal projection. Stop projecting your anal issues onto me. I don't like the way they smell. They smell like the underside of Jeebus's nutsack. Wait a minute, I've smelled it many times. How many times have I woken up in the morning and my eyes open and there's Jeebus hanging his nutsack over my nose? It's like, Jeebus, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? And he's like, just wanted you to smell it. Here, Cameron, let me show him the unfinished one too. Rachel, I want to show you Cameron's other one that I didn't show you guys yet. This one is great too. It could totally be finished as far as I can see.
I do a certain thing to the windows that I haven't finished yet that would take me not long.
I see. So only one half of the building has the little things on it.
The other half has a light gray color that you probably can barely see.
I like the hand. It's a great hand.
Hands are a challenge. But sometimes I'll look at my own hand for reference.
Hands aren't a challenge. Cameron, you just go circle, 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 5 circles for fingers, and then another circle for the hand, and you call it a hand. You just pretend that everybody's wearing mittens. How about that?
That works.
If you pretend everybody's wearing mittens, hands are easy.
Yeah, I would say that's my hand that I drew there, pretty much. The line is sort of the way the lines.
Female HP, I believe you just successfully named that card. Regal Dominion. That's the name of that card now. Regal Dominion. What is he using to color it? I don't know. What kind of pens are you using?
I've got Prismacolor. I've got like a box as big as that aquarium thing right there, full of like 100 and something pens. They've got a brush tip on one side and a more blunt tip on the other.
How much does something like that set you back?
Over the years, between $100 and $200. Yeah, but I mean, it's like a full set plus. You know, when they've got a sale at Swain's or something, I'll think, all right, I want to get skin tones this year and go get like 8 pens. Or 1 year, you know, last time I got grayscale stuff. So I've got like 10%, 30%, 40%, 50%, all the way up to 100% in grayscale. But there are 3 different tones in grayscale. So
that's a lot of different shades of gray.
Well, yeah, you could basically have 30 different grays. And so I have maybe like 6 or something. So even I have a ton of pens, it's not enough because you're not mixing colors really. You're just using the color that it is.
And so that's the kind of pen you recommend?
To people who draw like I do. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. I think it's good for myself anyway. But then I also use a Pilot G2 pen just as a thin black line sort of thing. I just find like it'll give a crisper edge sometimes.
A female HP says maybe we should start a GoFundMe to get him the remaining 24 shades of gray.
And a storage. I don't have room for anything. Yeah, it would be nice.
You have room for pens though.
No, I know.
Is it because your container is full right now? Your pen container? Do you have extras? Do you have more slots in it? He's got a big a pen container.
It's a JVC camcorder case from like 1985, and it's full of pens. You know, I could jam more pens in there, but I don't even know what pens I have and what the rest of the.
I'm surprised your pens aren't more well organized than that.
Well, they were organized till I got more.
I see. That's the problem with getting more pens is you have to disrupt your existing organizational system.
You can't be organized after a certain point, which I accept. I'd rather have the pens than be organized. I can survive within disorganization. I can't survive without the right pens.
If you found the correct organizing thing,
Yeah.
you could organize that many pens.
All I have to do is get like a balsa wood block and drill a bunch of holes into it, and then they're all the size of the pens, and then coat it in fiberglass.
Well, I mean, like that
Simple.
box you have, that black thing you have the pens in, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that though, instead of just being open and square inside, it's just a grid of nothing but pin-sized holes.
Well, maybe foam. A foam block would probably be good. But the thing is, they've got a cap on each end, and the cap has a little sort of a pointy nub coming off of it. They're in the car, so I'd show it to you, but
Pointy nub.
it's so you can grab it and take it off. You know, it's very round, but then there's a little sort of edge on it, so it may want to pull the cap off inside of a recessed hole, which could be a problem. So the thing they came with was this case that has these little sewn in elastic black things where you tuck the pen through it, and it pretty much works, but I've got about 30 more pens than holes for pens. It's always something. However.
30 more pins than holes.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm
Sounds
fine
like China.
Yeah. But these are all very healthy and high quality pens. So I don't know. Maybe they're made in China. If they're made in China, they're at a really good factory. I kind of doubt these are from China.
The Dow. Familiar with it? How? That it's a thing? Pierre? Do you buy your pens online?
I've bought all of them in person at Swain's art store in Glendale, I think it is. But during the sale. I guess I could get them online. I haven't tried it.
So, are those illustration markers you have? Or brush pens and markers?
They're look at Prismacolor.
Okay. Pow. Prismacolor Premier illustration markers.
Probably. The best ones, which I only have, are the dual tip. So it's a brush tip on one side and the other on the other. So I don't know how you. Oh, okay. Those are like fine line, etc.
That says
These are
the different ones are there.
That one says brush tip. This the bottom one.
So they're different. Like
there are so many different things. It's pretty. It's a lot nicer just to go to the art store and you look at it and you're like, yeah, this one. And you get a piece of paper and you draw on it and you say, oh no, I didn't want the 20% black. I wanted the 30% black. I don't know if it's the best thing to be finding online. I wound up with a ton of these house joints from the whatever that shop's name.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those house joints too.
I have like this is all house joints here because I used to go like riding my scooter or my mountain bike up on the trail. And I haven't done it lately because they both were broken for a while, and so I'd take a joint and smoke it up there because that's just way easier than having a bong and everything.
I could also maybe get colored pencils.
You know, I have colored pencils that my mom got at the Derwent colored pencil factory when she was a child. I have her colored pencils, which the sad thing is some of them kind of crack up and break, but It's really challenging to get anything crisp with colored pencils. So kind of like the pens, I find I want to outline them with some black ink or something, which I don't think people really like as a sort of concept so much. It doesn't really fit in with common conventions, I think I would say.
You get in this set sepia, rose, red, purple, burgundy, blue, blue, black, and black. I like gel pens.
That are just like an individual 0.7 line or something, like not a thick sort of a thing.
Well, like the ones I have that I don't know if they are at the moment.
I'll often find myself with just like random pens at work. So I'm quite sure I've used gel pens. They're usually like the Jolly Rancher of pens, sort of.
Yeah,
like,
they got a little
very,
glittery thing to them. You know,
yeah.
you can see the glitters in the ink. Anyway, I don't know. I can't find it.
Right on.
They're like for little girls usually.
Well, you know, little girls have cool stuff. Sometimes.
In the little girl pen section. Sakura glaze pens. Sparkle Pop pen set.
Yay. All right, well, this one I'll finish and I'll give it to you. So I'll be back at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
What are you up to?
Just I got assorted things I gotta do, you know, little tasks and shit.
Right on.
I always gotta chill, like be around because get all the mom tasks.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I'll be back.
All right, see you tomorrow, Cameron. Thanks for coming over.
Sure.
Don't forget to eat demasiado chizo.
Yo come mucho de quesadillas.
Sí.
Queso.
Mucho de quesadillas.
I want to learn a little bit of Portuguese. It sounds fun. Sounds weird. All right, get to later.
Yeah, there's a premiere set video in my feed right now from you, Eric. I don't know what you're talking about. How can we be more ESFP like? I don't know. Try harder. So, you know, I've experienced a certain amount of critique, different fashions of critique recently, and I never really got to finish talking that up, which was, so the X guy, he's one of them. He's just really wanting to shit on me, you know, because he feels like I shit on him. And that's fine. But then there's another kind of critic. Like today, it's a critique from the favors SI over NI. And it basically says, you know, when something doesn't work, you have a choice to either replace what it was because you made the wrong decision about what you should do, or to do it better because you didn't do it well enough. So it's like this past tournament, my kid went 1-5. Now, you know, he's been doing quite well, kicking lots of ass, yada yada. But we're running kind of an unusual case here on this nuclear weapons topic. And the reason is because everybody's misinterpreting the topic, basically. It links to this issue of fiat and debate. If you're on the affirmative side, you're advocating something, right? In policy debate, you advocate a plan that you come up that is topical to a topic area that's provided by the national governing body. So I just don't even want to get into this. Actually, I don't even want to get into this topic right now. It's too. It takes too much CI. I'm tired, and you might become too big a plant. 1, 2, free. You might become too big a plant. So I am very tired, but anyway, I'll talk about the second kind of critic and the third kind of critic without actually addressing any sort of arguments. So the second critic is my debate clients' parents, and they weren't really criticizing me. They were just sort of advocating that we not run this kind of case. And my answer to them was, no, we just didn't run it well enough. This is exactly the case we have to run. Everybody else is running meh. Everybody else is interpreting the resolution as meh. But they're all wrong. And if we can articulate clearly enough and decisively enough, concisely enough, why exactly that is and why they should prefer this framework, then we will win even against better debaters. They won't be able to handle the case. Which brings me to the two competing, sometimes complementary slopes in debate. Complexity and truth. The true argument always has an advantage over the false one, but the simple argument always has an advantage over the complex one. Now, the key thing is to remember the arguments themselves are not simple or complex. The explanations are simple or complex. And so, however, it is also the case that some arguments you have a much more difficult time rendering them simple, and other arguments you have a much easier time rendering them simple. Why is public policy such a TI category? I mean, the thing about public policy is it shares with introverted thinking the same fundamental frame, which is it's about those elements of existence that can be communicably defended. And that's why, of course, politics is also about what can be communicably defended if you have a just society at all. And you have to communicate, and laws about what can be communicably defended insofar as you reference a single standard, let's say the law. So if you're going to make legal arguments, they have to reference the law because that's the standard that you reference against. But and public policy is fundamentally a legal endeavor. Requires defensibility on the grounds that it be somewhat consistent with existing interpretations of law, and at least not run afoul directly of some existing interpretation of law. Like, for example, Congress can only pass certain things or else they get ruled unconstitutional. I'm not into fisting. I don't know. I'm not into fisting at all. What kind of fishies am I planning on getting? I'm gonna get some little fish, you know. I don't know. I gotta go look at the store. Maybe a goldfish or two and some guppies or something like that. I want the fish to be small so they feel like they have a lot of room in there. I don't want my fish to feel crowded. What, EFT? I don't know what EFT is. Am I effed? I'm glad to hear they'll be in caring hands. Yeah. Well, I was thinking maybe just getting the smallest fish I could find. Guppies would probably be the case. Maybe some other kinds of very small fish that are guppies. A hufel? What the hell is a hufel? Nobody knows what a hufel is. Least of all me, and least of all Piss. Everybody wants to see what it is. It's a hufel. I'll play everybody a song. You're living on a time frame I will never know. Alienation and humanity's soul. Imagine you a future after the collapse, returning to the urgency of isolated past. Picturing community, free of metaphysics, hunting buffalo, picking red delicious, knowledge of the seasons, wisdoms of old, fires blazing in the night to keep away the cold. Hostility is kept at bay. Hostility is kept at bay. By what you think is in the way. By what you think is in the way of my best children of the land. With an agave weatherman. Imagining a history never could have been. You lecture at the college, advancement is a sin. Lamenting disconnection and every corporate act. Asserting all your feelings and ignoring all the facts. Hostility is kept at bay. Hostility is kept at bay. By what you think is in the way. By what you think is in the way of my best children of the land. With an agave weatherman. You find maternity just so banal. Wish you had been born any time but now. And your experience won't run afoul of exceptions you might allow. Visualize nobility sipping on some port, or tribes of peaceful savages in beautiful comfort. But few of history's people ever thusly did comport, whose life was nasty, solitary, brutish, poor, and short. Hostility is kept at bay. Hostility is kept at bay. By what you think is in the way. By what you think is in the way of my best children of the land. With an agave weatherman. With an agave weatherman. Obviously, you can't hear very well through the mics, you know. But thanks, Tim Bulworth. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks. You're talking about throwing shade. Thanks, Octavia Silva. So anyway, this is coming together nicely. Am I an aggressive lover? No. I'm not. Not with Rachel anyway. Okay. All right. I got to go to BED, or bread, as they say, in the sandwich making industry. Although I might have to go get some food. I'm starving. So I guess I'll go to Jack in the Box first. Or I could go inside and make microwave food. I don't want to make microwave food. I'm gonna go to Jack in the Box. Maybe I'm gonna call Rachel on the telephone now. I'll go to Jack in the Box. Rachel says you're still up. I see you there wooing. So that means that I'm gonna call you, okay? Right now. And you and I can chat. But I go to Jack in the Box if that's cool with you. We can play What Do You Want from Jack in the Box, but I won't be able to give it to you. Both types are artistic, but ETPs are richer or INFJs. Richer? I don't know. They don't have that Jack in the Box. That is from In-N-Out. Jack in the Box drive-thru is over 24 hours and it's close to my house. So, okay, baby, I'm going to call you in a sec, Rachel. And for the rest of you, I'm not going to call you in a sec. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.